Life is so busy, if you blink, you can miss something amazing. It's important to take a moment and enjoy what we have and the people around us. I'm Mo Hagan, Chief Operating Officer for canfitpro, and welcome to A Moment with Mo, a podcast where I will welcome some incredible guests to talk fitness and nutrition, mindset and self-improvement, setting your goals into action, and much, much more. Now let's get chatting. Welcome to A Moment with Mo. It's a brand new year and a brand new season. It is a time to refresh, renew our goals, our vision, and our purpose, to also reflect on our past year and to take a look at what is ahead. It's also my favorite time of year because this is when canfitpro reveals the top trends for health and fitness. For those that know me, you know that I work with canfitpro. It is Canada's leading education organization for the fitness industry. And we are proud we provide accessible education, quality events and conferences, certifications, everything that helps to start people in the fitness industry to embark on careers. And to move your career forward, it is so important, no matter what industry you're in, to know what is ahead. What are the pros saying about your organization or the industry that you serve with your organization? Now, I'm thrilled to have as my guest as we kick off this season, fitness influencer and rock star in the industry, and coming to us from down under Australia, Meghan Jarvis. Welcome, my friend.
Hi, Mo. Thank you so much for having me. Oh, I can hardly wait to get into this topic and tell you what's happening down under and help people over there just have those little takeaways that they can smash 2024 in their fitness career. So
I
really
love
looking
it.
forward to it.
Smashing goals in a new year. And it's a great time of year we want to get everybody off on a running start and feel really positive and optimistic. There is so much to chat about because, you know, you and I have been working in the industry a very long time. We started when we were very young, of course. And I'm going to introduce everyone to you, Meghan, before we jump into the subject matter. But I just want to say that I, too, am as curious as our listeners and viewers to learn from you, because you represent a whole part of the world that unless we travel to and work in, we do not get to have the insights. So it's so wonderful that you were able to help to fill in the gaps for the other side of the world here today. So let's tell you who this incredible person is. And Meghan Jarvis is a fellow Canadian. She happens to reside in Queensland, Australia, the Gold Coast, for those who've traveled down under. And it's, as Meghan says, it's kind of like the Miami of Australia, where every day is like a holiday.
It is. It is.
I love it. When can I come visit?
Yes, definitely.
And
always room for Mo.
Oh, thank you. And Meghan and I saw each other recently in Canada. We'll talk about that as we kick off our interview. But for those who have not had the opportunity to work with this amazing woman, Meghan is a distinguished international speaker, author, also entrepreneur, celebrated for her multifaceted journey in the realms of sport, education, and business. With a background as a world-class BMX bicycle racer, my gosh, I can't even imagine, but it's possible, isn't it? Because it's you. Your athletic prowess propelled you to Australia, where you also seamlessly moved into the professional sport of basketball, eventually assumed a prominent role as a lead lecturer at the esteemed Australian Institute of Fitness. I've been blessed to actually be there for a visit myself years ago. And you are driven, and for those who worked with you, I am certain they will agree, driven by your unwavering passion for fitness and entrepreneurship. Meghan is the visionary founder of WellCorp Health and Wellness and the global health and fitness app Buzzville. You also are passionate and you advocate not just passionately, but also hard for what is really needed for redefining and bridging the gap between physical, mental health. Also, believing in the transformational power, the transformative power of holistic well-being. I will end with the following as the end to your bio, because there's so much to say about you. But I love the fact that you impact your fellow fit pros and health pros with your incredible breakthroughs that you've had with the businesses that you run and that you work with. You're always generous in sharing your knowledge and your comprehensive skill set. Your background includes a master's in education and coaching, kinesiology expertise, and you have a background in sports science. Now, to put all that together, it just helps to create a well-rounded leader, a dynamic character, and also influencer. And when we were together last, it was at Women Who Influence. And I just want to say how grateful I am that you support that event and that you come to canfitpro Global every year and you step into presenter roles, whatever those opportunities are, you always step in with such passion and energy. So thank you for being here. And I just want to maybe get a sneak peek of what you're into. What have you been up to since we saw each other last in August?
Oh, so much happens in 6 months' time. You know, now that we've come out of the COVID bubble, there's lots to talk about. But firstly, thanks for hosting what an amazing event Women Who Influence is. And that's how we reconnected. And I spoke to Andrew, who's behind the scenes right now. You never know who you're going to meet at these amazing events, and the connections run so deep. I mean, I just watched your previous podcast with Helen Vandenberg, which was absolutely amazing. You know, previous Olympian, you get to meet women like her that I've just always looked up to, and then stay in contact. And even if you're in Australia, you're able to have these connections and really learn from people leading the way in all these different countries. So thanks for a great event always. And I look forward to getting home and coming back again and enjoying Women Who Influence and canfitpro and speaking on the you know, all the different topics that we can do at canfit, because there's so many different verticals and areas that are coming out in 2024, and I'm excited to get into those. In the last 6 months, we've been really busy. We build corporate wellness gyms. So we build gyms on site in corporate buildings from the ground up. We design them based on the biomechanics or the human behavior and different ways that people will interact with the machines and the things that we put into the club based on functional movement patterns that they do at work. And then we manage those clubs and put amazing coaches in them. And they can range from exercise physiologists, which is also my background. So we've got, you know, the active aging rehab protocols going in. And then we're really diving deep into, and we're going to get into these in future trends, all of the different mindfulness techniques from meditation, breath work, sound healing, as well as ice baths, infrared saunas, and we're really looking at how we can extend life in the active aging and longevity scheme right now, using time optimized fitness. So we've been busy on the ground getting these gyms up and going because we've seen this really big shift in the corporate well-being sector at the moment. That's where our main focus has been. And as we were discussing at canfitpro, you know, 6 to 7 months ago now, that, you know, people are struggling to get staff back to work. We can pay them more, we can give them more incentive when it comes to days off, but those are not assisting getting staff back to work. What they want is, you know, better well-being, less stress and anxiety, ability to train at work and really have, you know, the all-encompassing package where they have a community and enjoy coming into work. So that's where we're really concentrating on at the moment, and would love to give an insight into where this is headed in 2024 today, what we're seeing over in Australia and what I've seen in Canada, and how we can, you know, blend the two is going to be really exciting. So that's a snapshot. We do a bit more, but that's where we've been concentrating on so far. So we'll get into it.
So much. You are from what we are now seeing in the predictions for 2024, you are already ahead of the curve, my friend, which I'm not surprised at. That's why you are the leading in your area of work. And it sounds fascinating what you are bringing to the corporate wellness space. So I'm sure that as we talk about the top trends, and I'm going to reveal them now and let everyone know where you can access them. And then I'd love for you just to share your perspective. You already shared a bit, and you also highlighted the number one trend that we're seeing. Before I share these, I'd just love to say that, as you just said, Meghan, we are seeing a dramatic shift in what people are interested in and what the Fit Pros are predicting to be the programs and services that will attract and serve the members better than they have to this date. And, long gone is the need to go to the gym just to crush your workout goals. There is far more in what people are actually seeking to, really seek that holistic well-being that we all are desiring more of. So I'm sure that it's an exciting time for your work, and you are also in a position to really serve the industry, to share what you're doing to help us courageously step forward into these new innovations and opportunities. So it's fascinating. Now, I did share with Meghan the canfitpro top 10 health and fitness trends predicted by 1,000 of our canfitpro members, which is a pretty significant response. And in that, we were able to capture, through the response rate, our top 10 that are seen as what is going to be most important to move the industry forward, to serve the consumers here in Canada. And I'm sure we'll see some similarities to what Meghan will share. I want to let everyone know that we are predicting a new age of fitness. I am most excited about that as I enter into my 4th decade in my career in the fitness industry. The reason I love talking about trends is it excites me to keep finding a way to serve my purpose. And no doubt every year there's something new or something that just reaffirms that I'm in the right space, doing the right work. But there's always something that, really speaks more of my curiosity. And that's why I love to connect with people that are just as eager to learn about and discuss the trends. So I will say, to find this report, you can go to canfitpro.com right now, and you can download it from our homepage. You will also be able to access the full report in all detail, along with insights and discussion from our Fit Pros that are contributing to our special feature January-February magazine issue. But for today, let me just reveal very quickly the top 10 in order of most predicted to be the most popular or most in need of focus, to the 10th, which is the least, but still made the top 10 list. So, as Meghan said, active aging and older adult programs, but we put that together as spot number 1. But here's what I want to say is active aging isn't just for the baby boomers. It is now cited to be a top desire by all 4 generations, right from the boomers, the end, and at the beginning, the Gen Zs, the youngest to the oldest, are all seeking the same thing: aging well by, knowing how to put exercise, both physical, mental well-being exercise, together with lifestyle behaviors and practices, and all of that is defined as aging well. Number 2, and remains again at the very top of the list, is functional fitness, which we can talk about that, but everything that really mimics how you move in daily life to the best of your ability with the least risk for injury. Number 3, mental health, mindfulness, and stress reduction programming. That is a big category in its own, but it's all around the mental health and wellness area. Number 4, and has climbed in the last couple years to the 4th spot from closer to number 10 last year, is active recovery and regeneration. And we're seeing a dramatic influx of recovery and regeneration, not just in programming, but in the studio design within our clubs and within our boutiques. Number 5, group fitness programs and classes remains in the top of the list. Number 6, personal training. Number 7, specific mind-body programs. That is including Pilates, yoga, Tai Chi. Number 8, upskilling. Fitness pros upskilling to meet the diverse and new needs of their clients and members. Number 9, online personal training and fitness classes and wellness coaching. So online is still here, and I predict here to stay in some capacity. And number 10, just to really mix up this list, is meal planning, preparation, food preferences, fasting, and nutritional programs. Whew. So I'll stop there. Meghan, that is kind of a smorgasbord. Would you not agree?
It is. I do love the top 4. I think that they are all in unison and all connected. So I think, really concentrating on those top 4 in 2024 is going to be the key for most fitness professionals. So it is a smorgasbord, as it always is. There's always but I don't think many of those are going to come to as a surprise for many of our listeners out there. And I'd love to preface why it's so important to also hear from, what's happening over in Southeast Asia. We always hear examples like where Red Bull got started. So a gentleman was going through Thailand. He saw these energy drinks that all of the taxi drivers in Thailand were having to stay up and make sure that they could make their 12, 24-hour shifts being a taxi driver over in Thailand. He asked them what's in it. He brought it back to America. He started, changing it slightly, but it was pretty much the exact same drink that they had over in Thailand for over a decade. And he brought it over, and now, the rest is history. We watch the Red Bull channel in all extreme sports. Red Bull is so huge now, and that was from taking note of what happened overseas and then bringing that to America or to your country. So it's so important we learn what's happening in our global trends as well as what's happening in Canada, because you never know what's going to be the next Red Bull or what your country really needs to stand out. And we can really learn a lot from what's happening in different countries. So I'm excited to get into what's happening in Canada and then also what's happening over here. And if there's some pieces that you guys can use, if you're joining us from Canada, America, New Zealand, wherever you might be joining us from, I think there's a lot to take, and I'd love to discuss,
oh wow,
what's happening on a global front, Mo. It's going to be great.
Oh, and I loved your story of Red Bull because it is such a powerful message around taking note, being curious, and understanding what happens in one country could be just the tipping point for a world phenomenon. And as you mentioned, Red Bull, I have a funny story about Red Bull. I smuggled it back to Canada from Europe, and it was what all European, I guess you could say, fit pros were using to keep their energy up when they were at conferences all week long, when conferences used to be 4 and 5 days, and then they party all night, work out all day. And I got introduced to Red Bull, and it was also a good mix in other drinks, but I was just like, woo, can't believe this. So that was such a great example. And I'm certain that it will get people thinking about just what they see in perhaps another industry that is just leaving clues for what can be possible also in the industry that they're working in, whether it's fitness or health or anything else.
Yeah.
We're seeing,
we're going to get into.
Exactly. Yeah. Red Bull is part of well-being, I'm sure. It is in many of my friends' repertoire once in a while. There's a lot of what we could talk about here. We both agree there's such a shift, but there's all in the first 4 for sure. And some of it is we've seen and we are not surprised by. I think of, trends as sort of putting the pieces of a puzzle together. What would you say from what you heard and, saw in our trends report that you see that is similar to what you're seeing in the Southeast Pacific area of the world? What do you
Yep.
see that's similar? What do you see that's different? Could you lend some insight there for us?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with similarities. So the big similarity is that we're diving really deep into active aging and this longevity piece. So, beside my bed right now, it's all about the books that I have are all about longevity and how we can look at different gene testing in order to look at the nutrients that we're lacking. So over in the US right now, there's Gary Brecka, and he is the founder of 10X Health, and he's under the banner of Grant Cardone. And Grant Cardone is an amazing social media master, a great sales agent. I mean, I'm sure there was quite a few Gary Breckas out there that were looking at genes and the different nutrients that we were missing in our body in order to determine how long we had to live. So his backstory is he worked in an insurance company for over 20 years, and he would literally up to a month determine when somebody was going to pass away if they continued in the lifestyle path that they were on currently. And at the end, he just got really frustrated that he couldn't help these people get their health back on track with just making some simple changes. It didn't even mean that they needed to buy more food or do more, infrared lights or things like that. It could be that they just need to go out in actual sunlight for a bit longer and get 8 hours of sleep, or just drink 2 liters of water every day, and this could extend their life. And so he had a mission to bring this to the world. And, the US has really brought that to the forefront. But then over here, we've got some of our amazing actors and really getting into it. And they're discovering what they can do to, the Chris Hemsworths of the world, the Hemsworth family. He just did a full Netflix series on the different elements that he could do to extend his life, where he's doing, cold swims. He's putting himself in these situations where his body's under pressure, but then it's actually extending his life by quite a bit. So the big combo, and what I'm seeing over here that's an echo effect from Canada and US, is the active aging older adult longevity programs. We're now really awakening to those. A difference that I'm seeing is with that, over here, we're doing a lot of concentrating on specific elements and verticals of coaching in the FitPro industry. So we have a lot of people concentrating on, for example, different trimesters in childbirth. So we've got a lot of coaches that are coming in to coach new moms, or after childbirth, how to assist with getting their linea alba closed up, their pelvic floor back together. And that's become a really cool trend that we're seeing over here, is that you pick a niche and you take that to the next level, and people will come in storms because they really want to have the expert in the area. I mean, if you're having kids or have had kids, I'm sure you'd relate that you'd go, I'd love a coach, I'd love a fit pro that really knows how to safely exercise me after or before or during pregnancy. So I guess the big similarity is we're seeing these top 4: active aging, functional fitness, mental health and mindfulness, and active recovery, kind of all in one. And that's huge over here as well, that similarity. And then what I see is a little bit of a difference is these nice little verticals where you can stand out from the rest. And our governing body, just like canfitpro, is Oz Active. I mean, if you're not a fit pro, if you are a fit pro and you're not involved in CanFit, or if you're not involved in Oz Active, that should be your first thing on your list in 2024. That's going to keep you ahead of the game, see the trends that are coming out, and the connections that you get to make in these industries. I work closely with Barry Elvish, our CEO of Oz Active, and he's huge on active aging, recovery, and longevity. We're doing a conference later this year together, specifically on this. And through Barry's influence, I know that we're going to be changing what's happening over here in Australia through our active aging and longevity programs. So I think it's really important to take note of these, get involved in what's happening with canfitpro, you know, whether it's Oz Active, X-Pro over in New Zealand, whoever your governing body is, stay on top of it and see what the trends are, and hone in on them.
Love it. You actually read my mind as far as where would you advise health and fitness professionals to focus their time and their resources? The first one, which I'm so grateful you said, and that is whatever organization that you are affiliated with, a member of, stay active with your membership, stay active with your certification, hone your skills. I loved how you said, you know, the big four is where we all seem to be focusing, but also find your niche, whatever that is. How would you advise this? Because this is an area that we at canfitpro focus a lot of conversation around. How do we take these trends to help inspire career development with fitness professionals? You mentioned earlier about acquisition and retention of staff. I believe that one way to acquire and retain good associates, whoever they are, is by helping them with their career development. What would you say would be some advice or steps to take using these trends, and what would be next as far as where they go from here?
Yes, love that question. And actually the leadership panel that I had the opportunity to be on at canfitpro covered some of these areas of where we really want to retain our great coaches and help develop them into the future. And one of the things that was brought up on that leadership panel was to ensure that you're leaving your coaches better than when they came in to work with you. And that's your ultimate goal as a business owner in the fitness industry, is you want your coaches, no matter what their path is afterwards, that they leave your company going, I feel like I'm a whole new Fit Pro, and I got so much knowledge from staying with that company and learning so much. So the big thing with retention of staff is focusing on helping develop everybody in your company. In my advice is in these top 4 areas are the ones that you're really going to hone in on. Active aging and older adult programs, even if you're not playing in that space, you are going to need to be playing in that space in 2024. So that one, I'm just saying, yes, you need to be playing in the space 100%. Have some programs, have some upskilling courses that your coaches can go to make sure that they are ready to handle and look after older adults. And like you mentioned, Mo, which is a critical point, no matter what age, people are looking at how they can age healthier now. So they're bringing their future self in now, and they're looking at how they can really live a longer life and ensure that they're looking after themselves no matter how old they are, whether that be aesthetics, whether, that's always a great selling point, and people are coming in for that reason. So we don't need to just think of it as older adults. This is everyone wants to live longer, healthier now. This is your whole demographic. So make sure that your coaches are getting skilled up on that, and you'll retain them and you'll retain your clients utilizing that #1 fitness trend over in Canada. And that's across the world globally. I believe that's going to be the niche, the missing sauce that you can add to your programs. Functional fitness has always been there, and that's incorporated in our #1. You need to have that throughout. This is really my favorite: mental health, mindfulness, stress reduction, and programming. And I say that because I work in corporate health and well-being. And a good friend of ours, Debbie Bellinger, she's been on stage discussing this. And I just applied for a TED Talk about how Fit Pros are soon to be called well-being professionals, because we're now opening our scope, and we're not just looking at what we can do in the gym, but we're looking at how we can motivate our clients more, how we can decrease stress and anxiety outside of the gym, how we can give them different areas areas to help them get better sleep at home, how we can help with their anxiety with using some sound healing. If you're getting into this and are Fit Pro and you're going, well, I don't really know meditation. I don't really know what mindfulness is. And you want to go into the area of well-being. My number one suggestion, and what we're seeing over here in Australia, is look at extra courses around breath work. So why I say breath work is because we all know how to breathe, and we all know that breath is so important as a Fit Pro in the gym. We need to make sure that our client is breathing out on the hard part of an exercise. So we're already aware of breath work, but imagine if we can take breath work to the next level and help mitigate all of these issues in our number 3 top 10 trend, which is that mental health area. We're seeing a huge shift in mental health over in Australia, so much so that in the last 4 months, our government across all of our states has implemented that you can now sue your employer as an employee for mental health issues. So that, as an employer, you need to now have, and it's called our new psychosocial hazards laws. And there's 14 different areas that you need to cover off. That's no matter what size of enterprise or corporation you're running. These need to be implemented, and you need to have a process in place, just like if you had a physical injury on site. So where we were once a well-being company that just built gyms on site and offered fitness professionals, we now have upskilled all of our Fit Pros on site to be mental health first aiders through Mental Health First Aid Australia. So this is coming. I highly suggest you look at how I can get my coaches upskilled in mental health, because this will sweep not just our nation, but across the globe in large corporate organizations. And I see that as a blue ocean opportunity for you as a Fit Pro to get into. And active recovery and regeneration, I mean, that's also going to come into play when we look at our active aging. And, we just opened up, I've got clients that are our largest steel workers, our largest steel company in Australia and New Zealand, or one of our number 1 clients. These guys are over the age of 60, doing 12-hour shifts, lifting really big metal pieces, 40 kg pieces of metal over their heads. And for the first time in their life over the last month, they're doing ice baths for recovery. And I have to say, they thought they would enjoy it. They didn't enjoy it that much, but they're enjoying it now. Yeah. And the whole saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, that went out the window about a decade ago for me, training with these clients. I completely disagree. My over 60s are more open to get into an ice bath than my 30-year-old clients. My 30-year-old clients, no, I can't get into that. All right, whatever you say, Meg, if it helps me get my legs back on track, I'm in. And they're sitting down, they're getting into the ice baths. So, I mean, these kind of little trends and little switches in your program. Ice baths now are $150. You set one up outside of your gym on your Saturday boot camps, and you have everybody try it out. It's a small investment that goes a very long way, and it shows that you care and that you're staying on top of the trends to come.
Whoa. Well, first of all, multiple mic drop moments there. You heard it here first. Honestly. And the connection, the synchronicity or serendipity of this conversation is unreal. You mentioned Debbie Ballinger, and she just happened to drop a comment in our social feed about our trends report. And then you mention her about, stating the change from Fit Pros to well-being professionals.
Yes.
And first aiders. And honestly, this is what the Canadian industry, as well as the entire fitness industry worldwide, needs in order to be seen and respected as important or essential members of the healthcare team of providers. Yes. And that's what's going to keep us in the forefront of the minds of our consumers, but our government officials, who have not necessarily recognized the fitness industry as legitimate. But you heard it here. I loved what you shared. And for our business owners who are wondering, how do I use this knowledge, this trends report, to make choices? And what you said was a small investment, a plunge bath outside in the, space that you're running your boot camp or whatever it is that you're doing, and just having people experience it. I want to share a couple things. Debbie mentioned, for club owners that are listening in here, or program directors, do an audit of your programs and services within your facility, whatever facility that may be, a corporate business that has a corporate health and fitness component, or whether you run a fitness gym, club, or boutique studio, is do an audit, see what it is that you're offering that people desire, want more of, less of, and be open to pivot or navigate a new path that would continue to maintain the clients and members you have, but also attract across all 4 generations, because we do struggle. A brand is known for a certain market. And what I've noticed just in the last couple of years with a mid-tier group of clubs that I am privileged to work at, Good Life Fitness, it's been around for 45 years. I lose count. And of course, it was, the members got older with the staff. And how do we attract the millennials and the Gen Zs? Well, guess what? It's by being innovative. We build recovery studios, and at last word, they're used 3 times as often as other spaces in the gym. That is, members speak with their feet, right? As well as their mouth, but whatever they're using is what they're desiring. And to be future focused, we need to, think about an audit or doing our own surveys. But at canfitpro, we're here to help you out, to give you that insight. And again, the Fab 4 is for 2024. And you said it so brilliantly, which I also think, where you focus your time, attention, and resources, start there. And then maybe use the rest of the list to, again, audit where your strengths lie and build on those strengths by elevating those individuals in those spaces. So thank you for sharing that, because here in Canada, as you know, we're self-regulated, unlike Australia, New Zealand, much of Europe. So we regulate ourselves. That means we, as fellow Fit Pros, need to uphold our own standards so that collaboratively we have a reputation that everyone will, feel confident in, especially the politicians that are making decisions without us or on our behalf. And we need to be represented in those meetings. And Canada's, lagging behind, but we're on our way. Just this past summer, Megan, I'm not sure if you know, the Minister of Sport changed her title and really advocated to become the Minister of Sport and Physical Activity.
Oh,
and that
amazing.
is, the following what is going on in Ireland, New Zealand, and really, in New Zealand, and I think Australia, you tell me, this is probably a great question, but in Australia, the biggest sport is fitness.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. It is. And we're seeing that trend as well. I sit on the Gold Coast City Council board for physical activity, and it used to be called Sport and Rec. And now it's called physical activity. So we're really, we're seeing that shift, and that's a beautiful thing. And it does mean that the government's awakening to our importance. And if anything, knock on wood, it won't, but if anything does happen, we want to be on the list as critical members that, you can still see we're just as important. We're like the counselor. They always say you talk to 2 people the most, your hairdresser and your PT. And we're the base of that connection. So, and we've learned so much about how important connection is since COVID, with regards to Alzheimer's, dementia. Just having that simple touch and seeing someone once a month can decrease the signs and symptoms of Alzheimer's and dementia by 60% just by seeing someone. So we know the connection piece of going in, like the fear that technology is going to take our jobs is really out the window now. because we know how important this connection piece is when it comes to active aging, older adults, programming, the functional fitness component, and we're all craving it after COVID as well. So
Absolutely.
2024 is going to be about community, connection, and how you develop that within your clubs. As always, it's the same thing that we've been doing for the last 20, 30, 40 years, is that's going to be your bread and butter, is really honing in on the skills of creating a community is still going to be a very important aspect and something that cannot go astray, and you can't miss that key point.
Well, another aspect of our report actually highlights the top 3 desires of fitness professionals for their development. And to your point, Megan, fitness professionals are desiring relationship building and communication skill development, motivational coaching, interviewing, so they can have better, more holistic conversations and assessment conversations with their potential clients. And thirdly, they're looking, where should I focus my time and resources for upskilling? So the good news is Fit Pros are desiring more of those soft skills that now many of us refer to as essential skills, or EQI, emotional intelligence skills, not just the hard skills of, you know, how you lift a weight, spot somebody in a press, etc. So perfectly stated there. And you're right, connection past COVID is going to be where it's at. And while technology will support what we provide, it will not replace the human connection. From a physiological perspective, we all need to feel that dose of, you know, love and appreciation and recognition that we get, right, from each other, just being in each other's company. And I love technology, because otherwise, you know, we wouldn't be able to have this conversation other than on the phone. But, you know, now we can have it together and we can really share knowledge with the world, which is what we both love to do. I can feel your passion. And, but it will never replace what we do as health and fitness professionals. Speaking of connection, I know that there'll be many asking, how do I connect with Megan? How do I work with you? How can I, you know, get involved with what you're up to? Perhaps you can let us know some of the things that you're working on and how best our viewers and listeners can reach out to you.
Yes, absolutely. I would love that. And so well said. Thank you, Mo. I'll just add to that piece, and that is that we're looking at FitPro trends, and that's very important. And then if we look at business global trends, one of them being in the top 4, and that's coaching, and that's well-being coaches, that's motivational coaches, those are coaches that help with courage or confidence or connection. And Fit Pros are really awakening to see these people that are going out, and, you know, we've got Tony Robbins of the world that has made this really awesome shift where people can now assist in all the areas of mindfulness. And I think Fit Pros are now awakening to, well, I'm not just a Fit Pro. I also help with motivation. I also help with courage. I also help with connection. What are the areas that I can be in this online coaching space, which is, you know, now it's going to a multi-billion-dollar level in 2024, and that's the online coaching space. How can I put myself in a good position that I'm a Fit Pro, but I can also offer this huge, diverse range of coaching that's going out of control? It's what everyone's looking for. How can I put myself into that category as well?
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, behind me, I've got a poster. I've just done a presentation called Fearless. It was a sold out show, and people want to know how to become less fearful of things, and how to have those courage, the confidence, the connection piece. And I didn't realize that I've been doing that the whole time, the last 2 decades for my clients as a Fit Pro. but that's something that everybody needs. And the clients that haven't come and seen me, it's most likely because they didn't have the courage to come see me yet. And they needed those first steps, and they needed, you know, the tools from Mel Robbins' 5-second rule, or if you don't know that one, YouTube it after, it's brilliant. You know, they needed these different tools. So I think moving into how to connect with me, those are some of the areas that we're really focusing on in 2024, is how do we use motivation, courage, confidence, connection to get people moving, to inspire that body-mind connection, and take it to the next level in 2024. So we'd love to connect with everybody. You'll see these kind of posts and where our industry is headed on my Instagram, Meghan Jarvis, my Facebook, Meghan Jarvis. LinkedIn is always the best. If you're a Fit Pro, make sure you've got a great LinkedIn, because at all of our conferences, we'll be asking you, what's your LinkedIn profile? Let's connect through there. But all of the socials are great. I've got a Meghan Jarvis website, and my company is WellCorp Health and Wellness, and that's the corporate side. And I'm actually working with Debbie, and we're really looking to help get coaches upskilled in corporate well-being, and change that stigma that we're just fit bros, that we're actually well-being professionals in 2024. So look out, what's to come. And I'm sure we'll be talking about this more at canfitpro later in the year. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting 2024, I can tell.
Oh, I'm so excited. And I can't wait to connect with what you and Debbie are working on. For those that are CanFit Pro members, you're going to see more of Debbie Ballinger in 2024, as she is going to be sharing her coaching program with our members. And so check out for some of that advertisement in our upcoming magazines, and of course at our upcoming events. I myself am inspired to connect on this level. When you mentioned about the coaching space being a multi-billion-dollar business, and how Fit Pros are perfectly positioned with their skill set and their connection and relationship with the client. As you mentioned, one of two that you talk to the most in a month. Hello, everyone. If you're looking to move yourself to the next level in your career, consider investing in some coaching training, and we'll have more information on that as well, because that's where you will get a real plethora of training, especially around having healthy, holistic conversations that will be inclusive, meeting people where they're at. And often I hear this in the gym when trainers who struggle with clients for many reasons, you know, clients as humans, they sometimes have trouble showing up or getting really engaged, or, you know, they say they want to rise to a certain goal, but they don't want to put the work in. And trainers get frustrated because they don't know what to say, how to say it, what language to use that is pulling, that is inspiring them to make that shift, versus forcing or pushing them to make that shift when they're not ready, or perhaps in the right space mindfully to take that next step. So coaching, thank you for sharing that. It's perfect nugget of knowledge. And I wrote it down. I thought, okay, I'm going to take that course that Debbie keeps inviting me to. So I'm going to check that out. I hope all of you will check that out as well.
100%.
A final word from my guests this evening. What would be the final word you'd like to leave with Fit Pros around 2024 and how we embark on this new year with all this new knowledge? What would you say to them?
Like, do I get one word or a sentence?
One word, one sentence. You take full opportunity to
if I had one word, I would say longevity.
Ooh, I like it.
If I had
that
one word,
be used many ways.
Yes, absolutely. And if I had a sentence, I would say, ensure that you're staying connected with CanFit Pro and what's to come in the active aging and older adult space. And that is for every demographic, every age group. It is not just older adults. It is throughout everyone wanting to live healthier, longer. So get ready. That is what's coming in 2024. And we're already seeing the shift over here in Australia. And we're always about 5 to 10 years behind, which is why coming home to Canada, I'm about 5 to 10 years ahead of the curve here. So they're going, whoa, Meghan's talking about this. I'm like, yes, this has been talked about for years back home. We need to,
Wow.
we need to keep up with the ball game. So hopefully,
well, that's very, very gracious of you to tell us that Canada is very innovative. I would have thought the opposite some days, but thank you for that. And I loved your word, longevity. And I'm going to top that up by saying longevity and how people choose to live and age, as well as longevity in your career.
yes.
And my legacy, if I shall declare it, is to help pave a path for everyone that is passionate about helping everyone move more and live well through fitness and healthy lifestyle behaviors. It would be just so sweet to see more people enter the fitness industry, build thriving careers, and have a long, healthy, and successful career serving the world with their purpose. So thank you so much, Meghan.
And thank you, Mo.
And to all of you, amazing knowledge here today. But remember, knowledge is power only if you put it into action. So let's get moving. Until next time, all the best.